Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the IWC Portuguese Perpetual Calendar. You can see this 42.5mm reference 5022 in platinum, one of 250 made, numero uno in fact. Purchase it on our website and of course subscribe to our channel if you enjoy these videos. You can click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Platinum Limited Edition Perpetual Calendar. Now the watch on my wrist represents an outstanding option for those who like the Portuguese look, love the Kurt Claus Perpetual system, adore the 50,000 series IWC base movement, but can't quite pull off or don't like the look of the 44 Plus. Now the first Portuguese Perpetual in 2003 was 44.2. Now in 2010 we got the 5023, which was 44.2, but from 2006 to 2009, we had the reference 5022 that you see here in a very manageable 42.5. Now, if you have a wrist as small as 14.5 centimeters in circumference with an oval profile, you can wear a precious metal Portuguese Perpetual Calendar. So the watch is 42.5 across the round of the case from 9 to 3, not including the crown. It's still fairly thick. There's a lot going on in that case. 16 millimeters thick, but it does have a concave bezel that both pairs the visual mass and helps the dress cuff to slide up and over the side. It may not clear the sleeve, but it will be fine with the cuff of the suit jacket. From lug to lug, the watch has a fairly compact 50.9mm span, and the lugs are well designed to taper and vanish, draping themselves over the edge of the wrist. So if you're borderline and you feel like you're going to get some lug overhang at the end of your wrist, definitely try the watch because it might look okay. The watch is designed to melt down around the wrist rather than flare out stridently. You can see in profile the lugs do turn down dramatically, almost 90 degrees from the horizontal sweep of the case band. That's how the watch fits itself around a small wrist. You'll also know the strap is completely unconstrained. So though thick and substantial, it's not stiff and it won't flare out over the edge of your wrist. You can see it is a medium rectangular scale alligator leather. It has a matte finish, so it's not excessively shiny. Some people are put off by that. No need here. Monotone stitch and folded edges on the underside, very supple calfskin. This is a well-chosen Camille Fournet strap from Paris that has almost a buttery quality to it. Impressive. It's paired with the old-style IWC initials single fold deployant with a satin finish top, polished bevel, and IWC Schaffhausen full polish internally. Now it is a platinum clasp to match a platinum watch, so the watch weighs a lot. It has immense mass, but because of the platinum clasp, it's almost like a well-weighted bracelet on a sports watch, in that if you wear it loose, it's not going to want to tip over. The counterweight of the buckle keeps it in place, even if you wear it loose. The case is handsome, and once again, this is the first of the 250, so that's got to be of interest to someone. If you want to be number one, I've got your watch, but notice the handsome quality of the contrasting finish. It's most visible from this angle. You can see the satin grain is deep and rich and mutes the center case, creating a clear contrast with the junction of bezel and case back with the center case. You'll also note that the hoods of the lugs are all of high polish, so they blend nicely into the polish of the bezel flank and the bezel top. The bezel with that concave inward curve is designed to visually reduce the mass of the watch, so though massive, it doesn't look clumsy. But like most Portuguese references, when you turn it in profile straight to your eye, it's all dial, with the bezel in the case melting away, almost like a silver halo. Now note that there is a railroad-style minutes track outboard of the center dial. Old school, very much in the vein of the original 1930s and 1940s reference 325s, the first Portuguesers, but there are also applied and polished white gold indices and Arabic numerals in a simple Art Deco reminiscent font. White gold hands, high polished in a foy or a leaf style at center, and then you have a metallic silver finish to the dial that is matte, not particularly sunburst. It doesn't have a directional grain so much as it has a very fine pebbly structure when viewed under a loupe. There's an enormous crescent-shaped moon phase with a beautiful celestial heavens, and the size of the dial and the size of the moon phase seems appropriate to the cosmos and the scale of the sky. Many celestial complications are just too cramped, too confined. The size of the dial on a Portuguese helps to alleviate that. Now you also note it's beautifully balanced with cruciform symmetry, the only disruption being the distinctive century, millennium, decade, and year indicator at 7:30 on the dial, and I'm going to show you how the Kurt Claus Perpetual Calendar system works. It's fully coordinated, so there are no pushers on the side of the case nor under the case. All adjustments of the complex calendar are done through the crown. How simple is it? Well, you pull the crown to the intermediate position, and then you simply make the adjustments. Everything moves in sync, and you see how day, date, month, moon phase, and even year can all be adjusted simply by turning the crown. Now, you don't want to go too far past the current date because you can't reverse it, but if you can adjust the date on a conventional three-hand Omega or Rolex with a date, you can adjust the perpetual calendar on this Kurt Claus mechanically programmed perpetual calendar system. This was invented during the mid-1980s by IWC's greatest living watchmaker, Kurt Claus, and the idea was to make a perpetual calendar, and you're going to see the year roll over at 7:30. The idea was to make a perpetual calendar user-friendly. Kurt Claus achieved that, making it simple, making it foolproof, and entirely coordinated and programmed. All you need to do is adjust to today's date, and everything else moves in sync. Now, the watch also features what has been described by IWC as the world's largest automatic winding caliber. The sign of a true manufacturer is building a caliber to the shape and size of its case. Now, making both case and caliber, IWC can achieve this. You're looking at the IWC manufacturer caliber 51610. Now, this model was made from about 2006 to 2009. For 2006 and 2007, the caliber was called 51610, and it had an 18,000 vibration per hour beat rate, so a big, slow-moving balance. Beautiful Breguet overcoil hairspring. It's almost like looking at a pocket watch with an automatic winding system, and that's very much the IWC tradition. The free-sprung architecture means it can take and hold a precise regulation, resist vibrations, bumps, disruptions on the wrist. The overcoil gives it resistance to positionally induced or gravitational timing deviation. The overcoil having its center of mass as close to the balance and its staff at center as possible. Now, you'll also see the IWC bidirectional Peloton winding system. You can see the golden pawl wheel and the golden pawls. It winds in both directions for smooth action. It's also very rugged and very efficient. The entire movement has a 7-day power reserve. And you can see there is a power reserve scale coaxial with the radial date at 3 o'clock. The system actually has enough power to continue running past 7 days, but IWC installed a stop works so that the watch will not keep time if it cannot keep time accurately. They said in Schaffhausen, 7 days of good timekeeping and then the watch shall stop so it doesn't spring any surprises on its owner. An impressive refinement. 3 ATM water resistance, so you're not going to want to take this one swimming, but for almost every other occasion, this versatile 5022 42.5 millimeters 250 pieces in platinum might be the watch for you. See it and find out on our website.